Shrine. Shrine is Sukuna's curse technique and operates through invisible slashing attacks governed by strict rules rather than raw elemental force. Dismantle releases long-range slashes with fixed output, making it effective against terrain and weaker targets. Cleave activates on direct contact and automatically adjusts its cutting power to the cursed energy and durability of the target. Furnace is not freely usable and can only be activated after the same target has been struck by both cleave and dismantle. This establishes Shrine as a conditional execution technique rather than a simple damage ability. The technique emphasizes precision, rules, and inevitability over spectacle. Limitless. Limitless is an inherited Gojo clan technique that manipulates space at the atomic level. Its neutral state, infinity, creates an infinite series of spatial divisions that prevent physical contact. Offensive applications include blue, which creates negative space that attracts matter, and red, which repels matter using reversed cursed energy. Purple combines both forces into a destructive erasure attack. The technique requires the 6 eyes to manage cursed energy consumption efficiently. Without them, Limitless is effectively unusable. Idle Transfiguration. Idle Transfiguration is the innate technique of Mojito, and it allows direct manipulation of the soul, causing the body to change as a consequence. A single touch can kill, mutate, or reshape a target beyond recovery. Mojito can freely alter his own form for offense or defense. Damage to the soul is extremely difficult to heal, bypassing most conventional defenses. The technique ignores physical durability entirely. It is one of the most dangerous abilities in the series.
Yeah, so?
Ought to learn some manners.
10 Shadows Technique. The 10 Shadows technique is an inherited Zenin clan ability that allows the user to summon up to 10 Shikigami through shadows. Each Shikigami must be exercised in a ritual before it can be controlled, except for divine dogs. Shadows can also store weapons, restrain enemies, and enable movement through space. When a Shikigami is destroyed, its power transfers to the remaining summons. The technique's final Shikigami, Mahoraga, adapts to any phenomenon it survives, making 10 Shadows extremely scalable. Cursed Speech. Cursed Speech is an inherited Inumaki clan technique that imbues spoken words with cursed energy, forcing targets to obey verbal commands. The strength of the effect depends on the difference in power between the user and the target. Using strong commands or targeting powerful opponents causes severe backlash, damaging the user's throat and internal organs. To prevent accidental activation, users restrict everyday speech to harmless phrases. The technique is extremely versatile but self-limiting by design. Its danger lies in its immediacy rather than sustained combat value. Blood Manipulation. Blood Manipulation is an inherited Kamo clan technique that allows the user to control their blood for offense, defense, and physical enhancement. Techniques include high-velocity attacks like piercing blood, and stat-boosting abilities like Flowing Red Scale. The primary limitation is blood loss, forcing most users to carry reserves or risk death. Death painting users bypass this drawback by converting cursed energy directly into blood. It is one of the most technically demanding abilities in the series. Straw Doll Technique. The Straw Doll Technique is the innate technique of Nobara Kugisaki, who uses cursed energy, effigies, nails, and a hammer to transmit damage remotely. Resonance allows her to damage a target by striking a doll linked to them through a body fragment or cursed object. This damage affects both the body and the soul, bypassing conventional durability. Hairpin detonates cursed nails embedded in targets, enabling delayed explosions. The technique excels at indirect combat and punishing overconfidence. Disaster Flames. Disaster Flames is Jogo's innate curse technique that grants control over fire, lava, and extreme heat. It allows the creation of volcanic eruptions, explosive blasts, and molten constructs. The technique emphasizes raw destructive output rather than efficiency or precision. Prolonged use consumes enormous amounts of curse energy. Inside Jogo's domain, the ambient heat alone becomes lethal. The technique reflects overwhelming force rather than adaptability. Disaster plants. Disaster plants allows Hanami to generate and control plant life made from cursed energy. It specializes in battlefield control through roots, branches, and cursed buds rather than immediate lethality. Cursed buds attach to targets and drain cursed energy over time. The technique can suppress an opponent's will to fight through environmental pressure. It is designed to exhaust enemies rather than overpower them. Defense and attrition are its core strengths. Disaster Tides. Disaster Tides grants Dagon control over large volumes of water. It enables flooding, wave generation, and summoning aquatic Shikigami. The technique reshapes terrain to restrict enemy movement and isolate targets. Its lethality increases dramatically in enclosed spaces. Inside Dagon's domain, attacks become unavoidable through guaranteed hit effects. Outside the domain, it functions primarily as area control. Ratio technique. The ratio technique is the innate technique of Nanami Kento. It divides a target into a 7-to-3 ratio visible only to Nanami. Striking the critical line amplifies damage regardless of the target's durability. The technique rewards precision and timing rather than brute strength. It synergizes with his overtime binding vow, which increases cursed energy output. Ratio converts consistency into lethality. Boogie Woogie. Boogie Woogie is the innate technique of Aoi Todo, and it allows him to instantly swap the positions of two targets that possess cursed energy. The swap can include people, objects, or attacks already in motion. The technique is primarily used for disorientation, positioning, and battlefield control, rather than direct damage. Its effectiveness increases with Todo's spatial awareness and timing. After he lost a hand, the technique was adapted to activate mechanically, increasing its activation speed. Construction. Construction is Mai Zenin and Yorozu's innate technique. It allows the user to create physical objects out of cursed energy. The complexity and efficiency of what can be created depends entirely on the user's understanding of the object. The technique consumes an extreme amount of cursed energy. Advanced mastery allows for highly complex or theoretically perfect constructs. The technique trades sustainability for precision. Tool manipulation. Tool manipulation is Momo Nishimiya's innate technique. It allows her cursed energy to control, guide, and enhance tools and weapons. Objects can be moved remotely or reinforced to increase their effectiveness. The technique's strength depends on the quality of the tool and Momo's cursed energy output. It excels in support and mobility roles rather than raw offense. Preparation and positioning heavily influence its effectiveness. Puppet manipulation. Puppet manipulation is an innate technique possessed by Kokichi Muta. It allows him to animate and control puppets using cursed energy. Kokichi can attack through puppets, channel cursed energy across long distances, and store cursed energy inside them for later use. Advanced control enables simultaneous operation of multiple puppets across a wide area. Blackbird manipulation. Blackbird manipulation is Mei Mei's innate technique that allows her to control crows and share their senses. The technique is commonly used for reconnaissance and battlefield awareness. Through her another innate technique, birds can be sacrificed using bird strike, converting their lives into overwhelming kinetic force. Projection sorcery. Projection sorcery is an inherited technique passed down in the Zenin clan from Naobito Zenin to his youngest son, Naoya Zenin. It divides 1 second into 24 predetermined frames, forcing movement along a set path. Naoya gains extreme speed by adhering to this frame sequence. Anyone touched by him must follow the same rule or become frozen for 1 second. The technique requires precision, as violating the movement rule freezes the user as well. It weaponizes motion and timing rather than strength. Cursed Spirit Manipulation. Cursed Spirit Manipulation is Suguru Geto's innate technique that allows him to absorb and control cursed spirits after defeating them. Absorbed spirits can be stored, reinforced, or deployed at will. Stronger spirits must be weakened before they can be captured. The maximum technique, Maximum Uzumaki, compresses all stored spirits into a single devastating attack. Using Uzumaki permanently consumes the stored curses. The technique converts preparation into overwhelming output. Comedian. Comedian is Fumihiko Takaba's innate technique that allows him to manifest anything he genuinely finds funny into reality. Its effects can range from minor distortions to full-scale reality manipulation. The technique only functions while Fumihiko believes in his own humor. If confidence collapses, the technique stops completely. It subconsciously forces others to engage with the joke. Comedian is limited by mindset rather than cursed energy. Sky Manipulation. Sky Manipulation is Takako Uro's innate technique that treats the sky as a tangible surface that can be bent, folded, or displaced. She can redirect attacks by distorting space itself. It also enables high-speed aerial movement by walking or sliding on the sky. Offensive applications include crushing space against targets. Star Rage. Star Rage is Yuki Tsukumo's innate technique that allows her to apply virtual mass to herself or her shikigami without increasing physical weight. When attacks land, they carry the force of an object far heavier than her body suggests. This makes even simple punches catastrophically destructive. Continued mass accumulation eventually begins to affect reality itself, risking gravitational collapse. Technique Extinguishment. Technique Extinguishment is the Angel's innate technique that nullifies cursed techniques, barriers, and seals on contact. It does not overpower techniques, but erases them outright. The technique is especially effective against reincarnated sorcerers and sealed objects. It functions as removal rather than damage. Timing and positioning determine its success. Anti-Gravity System. Anti-Gravity System is Kaori Itadori's innate technique. It allows her to nullify gravitational force within a localized area. Objects and targets inside the effect lose weight and stability, disrupting movement and attacks. The technique can also be used defensively to cancel falling force or incoming momentum. Its reversed application intensifies gravity instead, crushing targets and pinning them in place. Love Rendezvous. Love Rendezvous is Kirara Hoshi's innate technique that assigns constellation-based marks to targets, enforcing strict movement rules between them. Approaching marked targets incorrectly causes forced redirection or repulsion. The technique excels at area denial and positional control rather than offense. Inverse. Inverse is Jiro Awasaka's innate technique that reverses the damage value of incoming attacks. Powerful strikes are reduced to negligible force, while light contact becomes devastating. The technique operates continuously while active. Misuse can be fatal to the user themselves. Seance Technique. The Seance Technique is Ogami's innate technique that allows her to summon the soul and abilities of a deceased individual into a living vessel. The summoned soul retains its original physical strength, instincts, and curse technique, regardless of the host body's limitations.
Mango?
Baba.
Miracles. Miracles is Haruta Shigemo's innate technique that stores minor positive outcomes from daily life as latent luck. These stored miracles automatically activate to prevent fatal damage when Haruta is in danger. Each activation consumes one stored miracle, represented physically on his body. Contractual Recreation. Contractual Recreation is an innate technique used by Reggie Starr. It allows him to recreate objects or effects tied to contracts they have legally completed. Receipts act as the medium for manifestation. Both physical items and non-physical services can be reproduced. Hairplane. Hairplane is the innate technique of Hanyu, a transformation technique that reshapes his hair into an aircraft-like structure. It enables sustained aerial movement and high-speed travel. Most of his cursed energy is concentrated in the hair, leaving the body physically vulnerable. The technique offers mobility, but little direct offensive power. Helicopter hair. Helicopter hair is the innate technique of Haba. It's a variation of hairplane that spins his hair into a propeller. It allows rapid short-range aerial movement and evasive maneuvers. Like hairplane, it concentrates cursed energy in the hair, increasing vulnerability. Painkiller. Painkiller is the innate technique of Arata Nita. It stabilizes injuries and suppresses pain rather than healing wounds. It prevents injuries from worsening and allows continued movement. The technique does not restore stamina or repair damage. Its effectiveness is temporary and situational. It is primarily used for battlefield triage. Painkiller is a support technique, not a combat finisher.
俺の術式を施しました。
Sound amplification. Sound amplification is the innate technique of Yoshinobu Gakuganji, the principal of Kyoto Jujutsu High. His body functions as a cursed energy amplifier that enhances sound waves produced by musical instruments. By playing his electric guitar, Gakuganji converts sound into destructive waves of cursed energy that travel outward as physical force. Rot technique. The rot technique is used by Eso and Keichizu. It allows them to manipulate their own blood, which possesses highly corrosive and decaying properties. When their blood comes into contact with a target, it causes internal rot that worsens over time rather than instant damage. Immortality. Immortality is the curse technique of Master Tengen. It grants eternal life by preventing death from aging, but it does not halt physical deterioration or evolution. Over centuries, the technique causes Tengen to gradually lose his human form. To maintain stability, Tengen requires periodic merging with a compatible star plasma vessel. Cloning technique. The cloning technique is used by the Bagmass Curse user. It allows the user to create up to 5 identical bodies, including the original. The user can freely switch their consciousness between clones to avoid fatal damage. This makes the technique highly effective for evasion and survival rather than offense. Brain transplant. Brain transplant is the innate technique of Kenjaku. It allows him to transplant his brain into another person's body and take complete control. Upon doing so, Kenjaku gains access to the host's memories, cursed energy, and innate techniques. This technique enables him to live for over 1,000 years by continuously replacing bodies.
サトル。は？久しいね。
Auspicious Beast's Summon. Auspicious Beast's Summon is the innate technique of Takuma Ino. By covering his face with a mask, Ino becomes a spiritual medium capable of channeling 4 auspicious beasts. Each beast grants a different ability. Kaichi provides homing attacks, Reiki grants water-based mobility and defense, Kirin suppresses pain, and Ryu enables direct physical assaults. The technique requires ritual preparation and physical endurance.
カイチ。
Photo manipulation. Photo manipulation is the innate technique of Nanako Hasaba. It allows her to manipulate subjects captured in photographs taken with her cell phone. Changes made to the image are reflected in reality, including repositioning herself or altering surroundings. The technique consumes extreme amounts of cursed energy and stamina. Doll manipulation. Doll manipulation is the innate technique of Mimiko Hasaba. It allows her to affect a target by acting upon a linked doll. Any action performed on the doll is mirrored onto the target's body. Her most common method of attack is hanging the doll to strangle enemies. Ice formation. Ice formation is the innate technique of Arame. It allows her to generate and manipulate ice by drastically lowering body temperature. She can freeze opponents instantly, create ice constructs, or immobilize large areas. The technique excels at battlefield suppression and crowd control. Direct contact can freeze limbs solid.
恋時報束縛
Blazing Courage. Blazing Courage is the innate technique of Ogi Zenin. It coats his katana in intense flames that extend the blade's cutting ability. Even if the physical blade is damaged, the flame continues to function as a weapon. The technique enhances both reach and lethality in close combat. It does not increase Ogi's mobility or defense. Blazing Courage is a straightforward enhancement technique. It relies on swordsmanship rather than versatility. Stone Manipulation. Stone Manipulation is the innate technique of Chojuro Zenin. It allows him to create massive stone hands from the ground and control them freely. These hands can grab, restrain, and crush targets between their palms. The technique excels at raw strength and containment. Its primary weakness is speed, as the constructs are slow to reposition. Stone Manipulation favors overwhelming force over precision. Paralysis Gaze. Paralysis Gaze is the innate technique of Ranta Zenin. It immobilizes anyone he focuses his eyes on. The effect activates instantly and can completely halt movement. However, strong targets can resist or break free. When this happens, Ranta suffers severe backlash that damages his eyes. Cursed Energy Fist Projection. Cursed Energy Fist Projection is the innate technique of Jinichi Zenin. It creates gigantic fists of cursed energy that mirror his physical punches. These fists strike simultaneously with Jinichi's movements, dealing wide area damage. Prayer Song. Prayer Song is the innate technique of Miguel Odwal. By dancing to a rhythm engraved into his body, Miguel enhances his physical abilities and disrupts curses around him. The technique functions as both a buff and a curse suppression method. Its effectiveness depends on continuous movement and rhythm. Heart Catch. Heart Catch is the innate technique of LaRue. It creates a floating cursed energy hand that can grab targets from a distance. Once grabbed, LaRue can crush the target or slam them into obstacles. Damage dealt to the hand partially reflects back to LaRue. The technique excels at restraint and battlefield control. It is especially effective against single targets. Heart Catch prioritizes control over lethality. Mythical Beast Amber. Mythical Beast Amber is the innate technique of Hajime Kashimo. It transforms his body to manifest any phenomenon related to electricity. Kashimo gains access to lightning strikes, electromagnetic effects, and extreme physical enhancement. The technique pushes his body beyond human limits. Once deactivated, his body collapses and he dies. It is a single-use technique designed for absolute combat supremacy. Solo Forbidden Area. Solo Forbidden Area is the innate technique of Yuta Hime Iori. It creates a zone that enhances cursed energy output and capacity of herself or a willing ally. The effect can be elevated into a ritual involving chants, hand signs, music, and dance. When fully activated, it boosts output up to 120%. The technique offers no direct offense. It functions purely as a support amplifier. G Warstaff. G Warstaff is the innate technique of Charles Bernard. It manifests as a spear-like curse tool with a pen-shaped tip. When Charles injures a target, their blood fills the staff. He can then draw manga panels that show the target's future actions. Each panel grants 1 second of foresight. The technique excels at predictive combat. It rewards prolonged engagement rather than instant kills. Copy. Copy is the innate technique of Yuta Okotsu. It allows him to replicate other sorcerers' innate techniques after Rika consumes part of their body. Copied techniques are stored within Rika. Yuta can access them by fully manifesting her or through his domain expansion. Stronger techniques require greater consumption. Copy makes Yuta one of the most versatile sorcerers in history. Cursed Energy Discharge. Cursed Energy Discharge is the innate technique of Ryu Ishigori. It allows him to release his cursed energy as massive directed blasts. Ryu possesses the highest cursed energy output among modern sorcerers. His signature attack, Granite Blast, fires raw cursed energy with extreme destructive force. Heavenly Restriction. Heavenly restriction is a binding condition imposed at birth that alters a person's cursed energy in exchange for physical traits. Some individuals lose all cursed energy but gain extreme physical strength and senses. Others receive immense cursed energy reserves at the cost of severe bodily damage.
重力が全くない変容呪縛のフィジカルギフテッド
Simple Domain. Simple Domain is a barrier technique designed to neutralize the guaranteed hit effect of domain expansions. It creates a small controlled area around the user where automatic attacks are cancelled. Maintaining the domain requires constant cursed energy output and concentration. Domain Amplification. Domain amplification coats the user in a neutralized layer of cursed energy that erases other cursed techniques on contact. This allows physical interaction with normally untouchable techniques such as Infinity. While active, the user cannot use their own innate technique. Falling Blossom Emotion. Falling Blossom Emotion is an anti-domain defensive technique used by the high-level sorcerers in the big three sorcerer families. It automatically counters incoming guaranteed hit attacks by striking cursed energy at the moment of contact. The technique requires perfect timing and constant cursed energy flow. Binding Vow. A binding vow is a self-imposed restriction that increases cursed energy output or technique effectiveness in exchange for strict conditions. These vows can be made with oneself or others, and breaking them results in severe backlash. The stricter the condition, the greater the reward. Binding vows form the backbone of many high-level techniques.
ひばり、制約だ。守らねば罰を受けるのは俺。
Reverse Curse Technique. Reverse Curse Technique converts negative cursed energy into positive energy for healing. Basic users can heal themselves, while advanced users can regenerate limbs or heal others. Performing it requires extremely precise energy control. Cursed Corpse. Cursed Corpse is a technique that creates autonomous beings by implanting cursed energy cores into artificial bodies. Advanced cursed corpses can develop independent thought and emotions. Multiple cores allow access to different combat forms within a single body. Creation requires precise knowledge of soul balance. The technique blurs the line between object and life. It emphasizes craftsmanship over immediate combat power.
除外
Cursed Technique Reversal. Cursed Technique Reversal uses positive energy to invert the effect of an innate technique. The reversed effect often produces the opposite result of the original technique. It requires mastery of reverse curse technique to perform safely.
術式反転赤
Black Flash. Black Flash occurs when cursed energy strikes within 1/millionth seconds of a physical hit. It causes spatial distortion and massively amplifies damage. The phenomenon cannot be activated at will. Repeated Black Flash usage raises the user's understanding of cursed energy. It places the user in an elevated combat state temporarily. Maximum Technique. A maximum technique represents the highest output of a curse technique. It sacrifices efficiency and sustainability for overwhelming force. Maximum techniques often consume enormous amounts of cursed energy.
極の番渦巻き
Barrier Technique. Barrier techniques create controlled spaces with defined rules. They are used for protection, concealment, restriction, or isolation. Strength depends on refinement and cursed energy output. Barriers can suppress visibility, sound, or cursed energy detection. Advanced barriers impose conditional rules on those inside. They are foundational to high-level Jujutsu combat. Veil. A veil is a specialized barrier technique used to isolate areas or restrict access. It can block civilians, prevent sorcerers from entering, or conceal cursed activity from detection. The strength and selectivity of a veil depend on the caster's skill and intent. Domain expansion. Domain expansion is the highest expression of a curse technique. It creates a closed barrier imbued with the user's innate technique, granting guaranteed hit effects inside. Domains consume enormous amounts of cursed energy and cannot be maintained indefinitely.
領域展開無料空所